Good morning, my dear students. As promised, we are going to cover all the texts of our half-yearly syllabus through the means of these video lectures. So I welcome you all to our video lecture series, video lecture number 1. And in this video lecture, we will be covering chapter number 3, the birthday cake. So without wasting a single minute, let us start our today's video. First of all, let us go through the main characters of the story. So there are mainly five main characters in the story. Who are they? Number 1 is an old woman who is portrayed as a very rude, arrogant and angry woman. On the other hand, we find 4 children, Azad, Hania, Charulata and Piyush, who are very sensible. Now what is the theme of this story? This story mainly portrays how small tokens of love and care can make considerable change in someone's attitude. Here in this story, we find the old woman was very rude and very angry to the children at the very beginning of the story. But by the end of the story, her attitude towards these children gets completely changed. Now why her attitude got changed? We will find through the course of this entire story. So to know the answer of that why, please stay tuned with me throughout the video lecture. So basically, by the end of this lecture, you will be able to understand the string of events that takes place throughout the story and that resulted into a change in the old woman's attitude towards the children. Now at the very beginning of the story, we find that these 4 children used to play cricket in front of the old woman's house. And obviously, if you play cricket, you will hit 6, you will hit 4, you will hit boundaries, isn't it? So when they used to hit big shots, their cricket balls used to go into the boundary wall of the old woman's house. And she was so rude, so arrogant, so angry on these children that she never returned the balls. Now one day, these children decided to jump over the boundary wall of the old woman's house to collect the cricket balls. And as per their plan, they did so. So one day they jumped over the old woman's house to collect the balls. But unfortunately, they confronted the old woman, got terribly afraid and fled from that house. They changed their place of play after this event. What did they do? They went to a new place to play. So one day they were playing cricket and they spotted a postman. And the postman had come to deliver a birthday card to the old woman. And this birthday card was from an insurance company. Now after getting to know the fact that the old woman has her birthday today, they decided to bake a cake for the old woman. Why? Mostly because there were no one to wish birthday of the old woman. There were nobody who would celebrate the old woman's birthday. So they decided to surprise their grandmother with a birthday cake. And as per their planning, they collected money and they selected Charu's house to bake the cake. But now the question will come that why particularly Charu's house? It is because her mother never minded even if the children make the kitchen messy or dirty. Right? So Charu's mother was very kind-hearted woman and she never minded even if the children make the kitchen dirty. And that is why the children chose Charu's house to bake the cake. Now it is done. The children approached the old woman's house with the cake. And this is the first time they entered the house of the old woman. They discovered that she have all the things that are necessary to lead one's life. But all the things are in a dusty and neglected situation. She have all the things, but there are nobody to take care of those things. They are left in a corner, dusty and neglected. Now, they were looking through different things in the house of the old woman, and they found a picture, a photo frame, having the photo of the old woman in her youth. So finally, they realized that the old woman was not always old. She was not always rude or angry. She was probably once a very happy individual. And in the picture, they can find the happy face of this old woman, who to them seems very rude, who to them seems angry, who to them seems unsympathetic. But they realized that she may had everything once, but now she had nobody to attend to. And probably this situation of her has shaped her attitude. But like a coconut, she may seem rough and tough from outside, though she is kind and soft-hearted. Now, how can we come to know that she is soft-hearted? First of all, she allowed the children to come into her house. Instead of rebuking them, she cut the cake and served all the children a piece of cake. Now, these small instances tell us that she, though looked very creepy, very angry on these children, was not that unhappy about these children, was not that rude or angry towards these children. Internally, she had a tender heart. She was actually a very kind-hearted, soft-hearted woman. So this is a final realization where the children reached at the end of the story. Now we see a considerable change in the grandmother's attitude. But how can we trace the change? What are the instances that showcases before us that she has changed? In the very beginning of the story, she was very angry on the children. Now she is talking to the children, to the very same children, happily. So what led to this change? See, the children throughout the story has showcased their care and love towards the old woman who was long forgotten by her relatives and has been living in an abandoned house all alone for years. And this situation of hers may have made her creepy. But what should we remember over here is that she was a happy woman once, and internally from inside she was not a bad person. So when these children showcased love, when these children showcased care, and to celebrate the grandmother's birthday baked a cake all by themselves, the true self of the old woman came out. Her true caring nature came out to the front, and we can see that she brought a number of plates and a knife to serve pieces of cake to all. And at the end of the story, we see that she returned all the balls. These two instances, these two examples clearly showcases that there is a change in her attitude. So what is the lesson we get from the story? The basic lesson that we get from the story is a tinge of love can make a positive change in the world. So if you can showcase small instances of love and care, these things may make a positive change in the world. So what are the key points that we covered? The first point that we covered is the theme and the characters and their characteristics. The second point that we covered is who came to the old woman's house and why. The answer was the postman came to deliver the birthday card. The third thing we talked about was, why did the children choose Charulata's house particularly to bake the cake? What was the answer? The answer was the children chose Charulata's house because her mother never minded if the children make the kitchen dirty or messy. What was the fourth point that we talked about? The fourth point that we talked about was, how did the children change the attitude of the lady? The children basically showcased their love and care for the old woman by baking a birthday cake all by themselves. And these small token of love and care slowly changed the attitude of the old woman towards the children. Now the fifth point that we talked about was the children too rude or too angry as she appeared? The answer is no. Though the old woman seemed very rude and angry to the child, she was internally a very tender-hearted woman. And from the two instances that I have just mentioned, the first one is she cut the cake into pieces and served those pieces to the children, and the instance of returning the cricket balls to the children gives enough testimony that the old woman was not that rude or angry to the children as she appeared throughout the story. So with this note, I'd like to end this lecture, and I thank you all for patiently listening to me. Thank you.